Welcome to the BayNet's Countdown to November, a series of interviews with candidates in the November 4th election. I'm Dick Myers, and with me for this segment is Merl Evans, who's a Democratic candidate for St. Mary's County Commissioner from the 1st Commissioner District. Merl's opponent is Republican Tom Jarbo. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to come. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've run for County Commissioner before. Why did you decide to throw your hat in the ring this time?
Well, I think that previously I had spent some time sitting on some boards, committees, commissions, and I thought it was an opportunity. I consider running for county commissioner an opportunity. So I did 8 years ago and wasn't successful, and so you have to make a choice whether to move forward or not. I decided to stay engaged, and so over that time I've been a member of the Planning Commission, and the advisory board to the sheriff, and I still am a member of the chamber, and I sit on the governmental affairs committee. So I believe that background and my connection with the county sort of provides me the basis that I need to be a good county commissioner. I think it's important for people to be connected, with the county, and I've really tried to do that. And so I'm going to offer my services of you, if you would, again, to the county, and hopefully in November the voters agree. So.
You have a small business background, don't you?
I do, right. I started in business in St. Mary's back in the 70s, actually. I was offered an opportunity to come work for my father-in-law at Montgomery Ward Sales Agency. It gave me a beginning. I started with them, and then later on I put in place Evans Enterprises that over time purchased that, and then Montgomery Ward went out of business suddenly, and it left me with the experience of being in business one moment and not the next. So I learned over time to do business development. We recognized holes in the market, and Evans Enterprises did that. Over all these years, we've just filled holes in the market, and I've remained self-employed for all that time.
The county's trying to do sort of what you did, reinvent itself economically.
They are, yeah. And for us, so let me just share this. Over all those decades, small business in St. Mary's County went through its own series of sequestrations, if you would, which in our view was just an ebb and flow of business. And it really came by way of the Navy. Good times were good, and then there was always going to be a downtime. So in the good times, you put away a little something because you knew that the bad times were coming, and then and that's how we succeeded. I mean, we moved forward, always paid our overhead, always paid our help. And so recently, with sequestration, that came to St. Mary's, for the first time, it affected people on the base, people that got paid every 2 weeks. And it's just seemed to bring to the forefront the whole notion of diversification again. Something that we have been trying to get through the county for years. But as long as the base did well, it seemed as though everybody was sort of fine with the status quo. It's changed now.
So are we well positioned for diversification or not?
Well, I think in some regards we are. I think that we certainly have the people here. I think that the intelligence that's here by way of our schools. You can see our schools are top rated. We have College of Southern Maryland. We have a wonderful opportunity at the Forest Center to generate highly skilled folks. So what we need to do a better job of, Dick, is to address the jobs so that those folks that we graduate are highly skilled have an opportunity to work here. And so the diversification part, where people now are motivated since sequestration has come, the county and its partners need to do a better job with the infrastructure that it will be required to support that diversification.
So is the diversification likely to come from the companies that are here right now who do business with the base now but may decide to do business outside the base and develop that business?
I think partly that's right. I believe that the Navy will be here in some way, some form. I also know that the Navy over time has intellectual properties that it has developed over time. Those I see, and I looked at their catalog of intellectual properties, and There are, I believe there would be opportunities there where small businesses could take up some of those opportunities that are patented, by the way, and use those to develop new opportunities here, new footprints within the development district that we have, and maybe some newly zoned opportunities someplace to create new jobs. We'll never, I heard a person say the other day, we're not going to build F-18s here, and that's true. We're not going to build them here. But what we could do is we could build the components that would go to an F-18 or to a UAV or to UAVs or any number of things that might be opportunities, especially at our airport locally.
Commissioner President Russell at a recent State of the County meeting indicated he felt that education was the #1 component of economic development. You mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Are we positioned, is our education system positioned to take advantage of that?
Okay, so let me say that my wife is an educator. She has been an educator for 26 years. I think that one of the enormous strengths that we have in St. Mary's County is with our educational system. I think that the folks, that educators, teachers, do a magnificent job with regard to educating children. I think that we are developing more opportunities. The College of Southern Maryland, the new labs that will be constructed by the University of Maryland at the airport, all of those will come into play as we develop whatever we develop. Again, my background has always been in my businesses looking for holes in the market, looking for niches in the market. And I think as it plays out, I think what you're going to find is that small companies like mine and others will find niches in a high-tech market in support. There's lots of service opportunities, service industry opportunities that may manifest themselves because of this new move towards perhaps the unmanned UAVs and a more commercialized assembly process, factory process perhaps.
There seems to be a crisis almost every year at budget time over education funding. How can we get away from that, or is that just the nature of the beast?
Well, it is debilitating to watch it every single year. I think that what happens is it comes into play. County commissioners, unions, and then the members of the public, the Board of Education. And what you wind up having are a lot of A personalities that come into a room. Everybody wants what they want, and sometimes they're not very interested in moving to or fro. I think that we have lost somewhere along the line our ability to communicate. I think that we use text, emails a lot, but we've lost the ability to come into a room and try to understand one another. I think that if we decided, and we should, if education, we believe, is the most important thing for our community, for our children, for the growth of our county, it would seem to me that if the powers to be, who are pretty bright, the commissioners and all those folks get together and should be, this is where we are, this is where we need to be, so how do we get there? And the angst of this ridiculous budget, the way it's played out, especially in the newspapers, mean-spirited, name calling and the rest, has no place in this. It just doesn't. So we need to figure out where we are. We know where we are. We are a highly educated system that provides high-end education for the community. That's what we are. So how do we get better? We recognize where we are, look to where we need to be, and it takes the commissioners and those players in the middle to get us there. It really should not be as convoluted and confusing as it seems to be.